How y'all feeling today? How your pH? Hi, it's your girl Raven with pH Balance Podcast, and I don't know what, he's kind of like my family. He's like my brother, my cousin. We grew up together, but this is Mario. Mario, tell the people what's up. Introduce yourself.
What up, what up? It's Mario. How y'all doing?
Before we get started, Mario, how's your peace and happiness?
Right now, it's been pretty good. I can't complain.
I told him, at first I said, how's your pH? He was like, men don't have pH. I was like, yes, y'all do. He was like, I need more detail on that. Mario is what you call a man's man, okay? So before we get started, Mario, would you like some hen dog?
Absolutely.
Is that what they call this? Hen dog?
I'll take it.
All right. So tell me when to stop.
That's good right there.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right. So let's cheers. I got me a little water in my cup, but cheers to Mario. Have you ever been on a podcast?
A little bit.
A little bit. So not really his first time, but it's his first time on mine. So cheers to that. So I wanted to have Mario on the podcast because, like I said, Mario is what you would call like a man's man. And he has a belief, even though I might not agree with him all the way, that's okay because everybody is entitled to their own beliefs, what they think, and so forth. A lot of people these days are thinking like him, and I respect his opinion. Mario believes in poly relationships, poly marriages. And that is something that's super, super popular today where men feel like, you know, they are supposed to, or our men are supposed to have multiple wives. And I would like Mario to elaborate more on that. Like, how did you get into that? Has that always been your beliefs?
Well, no, not originally. It wasn't. I mean, let me clarify. Reading the Bible and growing up, in a religious family or whatnot, you read about David, or you read about Gideon and Solomon and all the other men in the Bible, kings who had multiple wives, concubines or whatever. But it was taught to us that, that was the old times. We don't do that no more. And it never made sense to me, but we did it because that's how we were raised in this society, right? But, once you go through doing some of your own research and really studying the Bible and understanding, certain things were taken out of context and things of that sort. So I think it's one of those things where I'm not going to sit here and say it's for everybody because it's not. I mean, you got to do whatever's best for your situation. But on the flip side, I think people need to start understanding that is an option. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it starts with men being honest. You know what I'm saying? Telling the truth. Hey, listen, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. Be transparent. And you might be surprised at some of the outcomes that you might get. But if you go out and lying and saying, oh, no, this is how I want to do it or whatever, and then you get caught later on, you look like a fraud.
Right.
So just be transparent, be honest, and then what's the purpose behind it is I think a lot of people get caught up in the first thing they think of is sex or whatever, and not thinking about the family dynamics that come along with it. It's a lot of broken homes over that. They say monogamy works. Well, if it works, then why is 70% of marriages ending in divorce? So, I mean, it's just something, and I know we'll get more detail about it or whatever. You have some specific questions you might want to ask.
Yeah, so when you talk about like poly, would the family dynamic be set up? Like, are you all living in the same home? Like, how does that work? Do you have a wife that is the number one wife and then the other wives follow? Like, how does it work?
Well, I mean, I look at it like this. You have children, right? So you want to treat your children fair, right? So if you have more than one woman, it's the same concept, right? You don't want to show favoritism. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna throw off the chemistry in the household. You'll make everything fair. As far as living together, that's y'all's arrangement. So y'all got to figure out what arrangement works best for you. What we have to do as a society is quit worrying about what everybody else thinks. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. If it's not for you, that's cool. But think about how many. First of all, let's start with this. Women outnumber men drastically.
Okay.
Right? So then when you factor in them already outnumbering men, you factor in the prison system, you factor in the alphabet community and things that they forcing down our throats. You factor in different gang-related issues and violence in our community, it shrinks the pool even more, right? So for women that are looking for a quality man, that pool is not it's not the greatest to choose from. So and that's we ain't even, excuse me, we're not even just talking about blacks or whatever. That's as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when you look at each situation, you have to identify what works best for you and your family. And if you get the right situation, as far as the family dynamic, what you mentioned not too long ago, I mean, you take pressure off of one woman. Think about it. In your earlier segment, you mentioned we're talking about meal prepping and things of that sort. Well, if you got somebody else, okay, I don't got to cook every day. She gonna cook today, and then we can eat leftovers or something, and then the other day, the other wife can cook as well. Sometimes the man might cook in the household if he's a good cook or whatever, right? But I think we have to start looking at it more as a team concept or whatever, in order for more women to have a protector, provider, a leader that they need, not just for them, but it's a lot of women, that single women with kids that don't have a father figure and things of that sort. So that might be an option that they might want to explore.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So with a family dynamic with poly, women have so many different emotions. Like each woman, some days I just might wake up on the wrong side of the bed. How is a man? And I know for myself, I'm kind of like selfish in a sense. Like I want my man to kind of cater to me. What if all three of your wives wake up on this day? It's not that you can cater to each one of them because you're only one person. So somebody's going to feel neglected or feel like they're not getting the attention. And how could you manage that being one person?
Well, I think it's like this, right? The majority of women are single right now, don't have a man, period. So what do you do now when you wake up? And I'm not saying you specifically, but to the women out there, what are you doing now? You don't have a man, period. So now you're adding in a man who's able to do those things that you want. It might not be every day, but right now you ain't getting nothing. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, going back to, it depends on your dynamic of the situation. Every woman is different. So it's kind of like a puzzle piece. You just got to make everything fit. So as far as the emotional aspect and things of that sort, that was taught to us. Mm-hmm. Because before we came over here to this country, that was a normal practice where we came from. But over here, it's part of population control. If you control the amount of healthy relationships, all right, you control the dynamic of the family. So now you have a bunch of broken homes because men out here going behind their backs or whatever. Or a lot of these women know this man might have. Yep. First of all, let's say this: a lot of women are already practicing it now, right?
Practicing what?
Poly. The proper term and the term that I focus on is called polygyny, which is a man having more than one wife. Because that was the natural order. That was in the Bible. All of this other stuff that's been thrown up, that's new.
So let me ask you a question. So by law in the United States of America, a man can only have one wife legally.
Right.
So technically, even though you're saying it will be an equal situation, it would never really be an equal situation because by law, only one wife. So say if you build this empire, only one wife really, if you pass away, only she gets to control what goes on. So those wives still feel neglected because by law, you cannot, it doesn't work like that. So somebody's always going to feel neglected. And although you say like, oh, well, you waking up now. Yeah, but also adding a man and kids to your life, that women don't have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of women wake up, like myself, I'm single. I wake up fine every day. I don't, yes, if I'm wake up in a bad mood, I mean, I regulate that on my own. But like if I'm adding someone to my life for a man, I want a man to be a protector. I want him to help me through it, stuff like that. But if I have to share a man with multiple women, me, myself, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Because, you're kind of technically you're getting to benefit from all of it. Like it's more fun for you because are you willing to share the women if they want to have men? No, like you want them all to yourself. And on a financial aspect, how does it work? Are you the one paying all the bills? Because a lot of men who, like in other countries, like in Dubai or Africa, they're very wealthy men. These are multimillionaires who can afford a lifestyle to be able to allow these women to live in her house, or maybe it's a neighborhood with 5 or 6 houses and each wife live across the street and they all live exactly the same and they don't have to work. The man may be able to invest it if they want to start a business, but if they don't want to work, they don't have to. What do you expect the women to do? Are they supposed to work or you feel like, no, they don't have to work. They could just stay home and take care of the children? Because back in Bible days, the women stay home, they raised the children, and the men went out and worked in the fields and worked hard, and the women didn't have to do that. So what does it look like in 2024 for a man who wants a poly relationship? Do you expect the woman to go out and work?
So I look at it like this. First of all, every man should have something going for him. You should first be able to take care of yourself before you can take care of a woman, number one, right? But I think now, as far as how does that dynamic work, back then women weren't working.
Right.
Right. Now, a lot of women such as yourself are out here making good money and have a lot going for yourself. So now, when I speak of team, I'm not saying that, first of all, like we were talking about, the man is supposed to be the leader, the provider, the protector, right? He should be out here doing something to hustle to make some money in a legitimate way or whatever. And if it ain't legitimate, try to get it legitimate or whatever. But so that starts number one. As far as the women working or whatever, yeah, the number one priority is the house. You want to make sure the house is taken care of or whatever. The kids, make sure it's clean, cooked or whatever. That's a job.
Right.
And I think most realistic men understand that. You know what I'm saying? So if that was the case, then yeah, we probably wouldn't want you working. If we had kids, everybody don't have kids though.
Right.
So I think it goes into the dynamic of your family. Everyone's situation is different. Some people don't want kids, So as far as how that works, I think you got to find what's best for y'all. Like I said, a lot of women are making money, so we can put together a retirement plan. You might work now for maybe a year, but if it's 2-3 incomes coming in, we're living off of one income, we should be able to take the other 2 incomes to invest, do real estate, other deals, business, finances, get property, things of that sort, working as a team to where it'll be a point to where, all right, 2 years from now, you don't have to work. And I think the problem is when we look back at like how our grandmothers and our grandparents, our own parents were raised, they came together with nothing a lot of time and built something. And I think now in this society, everything is expected right away, and we're not looking to invest or put anything in. It's like a lot of the situations, they expect a man to have everything taken care of, do this, that, and the third. But as soon as the man asks for something in return, oh, well, you the man, this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm the man, but we're supposed to be a team.
Well, let me add on to that. So I'm just asking, so do you expect, to have these 3 women that all work, and you get to have them cater to you and have your children and share you, and they still have to work, and it really only benefits you at the end of the day. If you got 3 of these women who are you in control of, they're all bringing home money, and you guys are supposed to be building an empire, but they have to each share you, and then they still have to work, and then they still have to pretty much build into what you want them to do as far as like financial. You technically are the one only benefiting from it, like, because you can have a husband and a wife that come together and build an empire together, one-on-one, not 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, because that's different. And most of the time you talk about, like, I can only speak for my grandparents. My grandfather, he was the breadwinner. My grandmother never working. She had 11 children. The grandfather went out and got the money. She stayed home and raised the children. It wasn't like she was out working too and then they built something together. The man technically took care of the household.
So what did I say at first? I said every man should have something in place to where he's generating income. He's able to provide and protect for himself. Number one, right? So any man in this situation, again, it's a different type of man. So you got to understand he's not gonna handle stuff the same way everybody else does. Number one, he's the leader, so he's gonna be out working, period, doing what he has to do. But if you are, let's say women right now, you're working full time, but you're able to drop down to part time, okay? Or if it's 3 incomes, one of them might be able to drop down to not working at all. Other one works for a little bit, like I said. If it's a 1 or 2 year plan, you put a plan in place. If you got 3 people making $100,000 a piece, you living off of one income for 2-3 years, and all of that other money is getting saved. It's a retirement plan. Because now you take that money, you invest it. You, like we're saying, you buy real estate, you buy other properties, you do other things to expand the family. So yeah, 1 person, 2 people can do it, absolutely. But if you got 3, you can speed up the process. Let me clarify too. Again, this isn't for everybody, right? So for you women out there who saying, I ain't sharing my man, okay, that's fine. You don't have to do that. We're not forcing you to do anything. It goes back to every situation. It depends on your situation, what works best for you.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How has it been being a single man? Have you found you any wives yet that are willing to do this? Like,
I mean, to be honest, yeah, there's some women out here that are willing to do that, but right now, that's not my focus. My focus is on me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I recently went through a divorce and stuff not too long ago, so it's an option, you know what I'm saying? But that's not my focus. My focus is on me, my peace and happiness right now.
Okay. Amen
you know
to
what
that.
I'm saying? And if the right situation, and I'm not saying that I'm going to have multiple wives.
Right.
If I get the right situation, I don't feel like I need that. I never said I have to have that. And most men aren't going to say they have to have that.
But you would prefer that.
If the Most High bless me with that, I'm not going to argue with him. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so basically, in your world, what you would like is to have multiple wives where you guys all come together, work together, and build a family compound, pretty much, and build generational wealth. But you don't believe that you should have to do it by yourself. You feel like everybody works together to do that, right?
Right, because a lot of, prime example, we go and work for these other corporations, these other companies, and build their empires, right? But it's like, prime example, speaking of women, not all women, so let's clarify that, not all women. A lot of women saying, let's go to this, it's a hot topic, 50-50 on bills, right? A lot of, I heard women say, hey, I'm not, if a man is in the house, I'm not paying 50-50, right? But then you'll turn around and you'll go work. You don't want to help your husband, but you'll go and work for somebody else, right? But you don't want to work with your man, right? And then as far as being 50-50, for me personally, I feel like as the leader, as the man, you're going to pay the majority of the bills. But if a situation arises, and it might be a situation where, hey, we might have to do this for a little bit. It goes back to working together. And I think going back to what we were saying earlier, in this country, we've been taught that everything has to be instant. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, if you're going to have multiple women, I don't want to do nothing. Why not?
That's kind of me.
Okay, but why would that be the situation?
I mean, because I'm a woman by myself. I own my own home.
Right.
I make my own money.
Right.
I don't have to share a man.
Right.
I don't have to. I
But
can't.
you're making it you're making it more personal.
No, I'm speaking. Like I said, some women go for this. Like, I have a friend right now that has a husband who's African. He has a wife in Africa too, but he has a wife here,
Right.
and she's his wife.
Right.
And you know, it works for her.
Exactly.
But he tricked her into it too, because he didn't tell her he was married back in Africa.
I say, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Don't do
so
that.
it's, but you know, and I can't 1,000% say she's happy with that. But of course, she's here with him, and she got tricked into it.
She's
but
still with him, though.
kind of, sort of, not really. But you know, sometimes you fall in love with these people, and then you already tricked into it, you know, and you find out later that they have other stuff going on. But I respect the fact that you are open and saying, hey, this is what I want, even though I mean, I don't agree with it. But
tell me why you don't agree with it.
Like I said, because
And then keep him. Go ahead.
A man doesn't have to share me. He gets all of me, and I want someone that I can get all of them. I feel that it's only beneficial for the man to have multiple women. It's not beneficial for the woman to have. I believe you get all of me, I should get all of you, and we work together. It only benefits. Truth be told, it only benefits the man to be able to have sex with different women. The children get neglected. Truth be told, no matter how you might twist it, turn it, if you have a household, and even though people always are like, "Oh, you're supposed to love your kids," let's just be real. You might love all your kids, but you got that one kid you just really, really, really love, and you really, 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 really close to. You might not want to admit it. You might try your best to treat your children all the same. And I know that will be different with different wives. You know what I'm saying? Because those are people who, or different multiple women. Like, you're gonna have one woman that you like the most. And then the other woman's gonna feel neglected. You might be at that woman's house more than you be at this one, because this one kind of got an attitude all the time, and the kids are jealous because you over there with this. But God made it for husband and wife to come together to raise their children together, not all these different households outside to where kids are jealous because they feel like this family gets more time with the dad this weekend. Like, it's just too much. In my opinion, it's better to raise a family with just the husband, the wife, and their children. You know what I'm saying? It's more peaceful, not only for the wife and the children, but for yourself too. Like, trying to manage all these personalities, trying to come up with all this different money, and you got to manage. Oh, how much money she bringing in today? Like it's just, I don't know.
Well, let me say this.
And let me say this too, because you brought up the Bible. I believe that back then, God was trying to fulfill the earth. He was trying to make the earth plentiful with people. That's why he allowed brothers and sisters to marry. We don't allow brothers and sisters to marry these days. It's completely different. This is thousands and thousands of years later. So we're not allowed to marry our brothers and sisters. That was allowed back then because God was saying, replenish the earth. So times have changed over the years. Things have changed centuries and centuries, you know. So with that, that's just my opinion. But like I said, I respect yours. Like, you know, everybody has a right. If you want multiple wives, there's a lot of women out here that's gonna go for that. And then, do you want the wives to have sex with each other? Like, how would that work?
So no, in the situation, no, that's not how it's supposed to work. Like I said, everything goes back from, like you brought up the Bible, right? God, that's the reason why he created the law for the children of Israel, and he spelled out, if you take on another wife, her food, her raiment, and her wifely duties aren't to be diminished. That's all in the scripture, right? So going back to, we can't speak about how we feel all the time. We have to speak about the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is, it's a lot of single women that would love to have a good man, and it's not a lot of good men growing on trees, right? They're far and few in between. So again, not saying that every woman has to do that, but for some of these women out here who would like to have a man, and understanding the fact that it's not a lot of men out here like that, that's something that they'll be willing to do. You got to understand, each woman is different.
To have a piece of a man. That's what you're saying.
Okay, well they doing it. First of all, they're doing it right now. A lot of women don't mind having a piece of a man if it's a good man. If you got a quality piece of a man compared to a trash piece of a whole man, which one you gonna take? So that's something you gotta
I'll
think
take
about
being
too.
single.
Okay, well then now
But,
you have no piece of a man being
Yeah,
single.
because guess what? I don't want a piece of a man. I want a whole.
So
of a man.
instead of having a piece, you rather have no piece.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well now you have no man.
Yeah.
So now we're still in
Because
the
I
situation.
really don't really have a whole man. I got a piece of a man. So
No, but you said a man's man is different from the rest of the men out here.
it's a lot of men that understand that having one woman is beneficial.
And
Most multi-millionaire billionaires, if you look at them, they have wives that they've been with because they understand the quality of one woman.
They also have mistresses, and they also you always hear
Maybe.
about they got caught cheating with somebody on the side, right?
Maybe not.
And
if it worked, and if that was the case where it was so happy for those wives, why those wives just don't stick around and let the husbands have their mistresses and just shut up?
A lot of them do.
A lot of them don't.
Okay, but if a lot of them do and a lot of them don't, we still got a lot to do.
But again, that's where it goes to say, like, everybody's different. Everybody has. We're in a world full of people that all have different ways, different qualities, different things that they would accept and won't accept. But, like I said, I respect you. And I love that you came on the show and talked about this. So, like I said, a lot of people, it's the guy that I watch now. He has like 10 wives and that he's like a massage therapist or something. I don't know if you know him. I can't think of his name right now on social media, but it works for him. So I'm going to share his page with you when we get finished. But Mario, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this. How was it?
I mean, I think it was a conversation that needs to be had because, like you said, it's a topic that's popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to, fellas, be honest, quit lying, quit running around. Because if you tell the truth and she accepts what you say, there's no surprise later. So she can't come and get it. She's gonna look at you completely different from a respect standpoint. So don't be afraid of the consequences. If you want what you want, say what you want and stand on what you want. And going back to what Raven was saying again, it's not for everybody.
Right.
So y'all don't take this conversation as every man should just have this, that, and no, it's not like that. And then it's, to close out real quick on the point that you were saying about a piece of or whatever. It's a lot of women that would love to have a piece of a good man because they've been through a lot of experiences with men that weren't good. So now when you come into a place, and I'm not speaking about me, I'm just talking about in general. You know what I'm saying?
Well, ladies, we got to wrap this up real quick.
Yeah, we'll be back for part 2.
Yeah, I'll bring him back if y'all want him back. Ladies, if you want a man that you're into poly relationships, he don't want y'all, most women want to be able to do it with each other too, but he don't want that. He just wants you to yourself. And he wants to have each one of you that y'all don't get to touch each other, right?
That's a separate situation.
And
first of all, quit trying to throw. You keep making it about me. I'm just talking about in general.
This might help you. It's gonna be women that see this. It's gonna help you find.
You're right.
I'm telling y'all what he want. He want each one of y'all to yourself. Y'all can't touch each other and build an empire. All of y'all gotta work.
I didn't say that.
Okay, so they don't have to work.
That's part of. It goes back to y'all's family dynamic. Whatever works for y'all works for y'all. Can't worry about what everybody else think.
Okay, so they don't have to work.
Not necessarily.
Oh, so he got the money.
Here we go. Hey.
Okay, we gotta wrap this up. Thank y'all for watching PH Balance Podcast. It's your girl Raven, and thank you for coming, Mario. We out.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.